The Kimberley is a place that's on every four-wheel driver's bucket list, but it has some secrets that often don't land in the guidebooks and don't land on the average four-wheel driver's itinerary. In this episode, I'm going to show you the secrets of the Kimberley, the tracks, the waterholes, the campsites, the places, and I'll give you some tips so that you can find them yourself and have an absolute ball, often on your lonesome, because you're probably going to have a lot of these spots all to yourself. Enjoy. G'day folks, Pat Callinan here, coming to you from the Kimberley, home of the mighty Gibb River Road. And that's what most four-wheel drivers tend to do. They just want to hit the Gibb River Road and sail all the way across to Broome. Now that's a fantastic journey, but I think a lot of people are missing out on some absolute gold along the way. So I've got a secret to tell you. Come a little closer. No, even closer. This is a damn good secret. You see, around the East Kimberley, there lies some amazing tracks, waterfalls and journeys that you have probably never heard of, many of which I rate much better than the attractions on the Gibb River Road. So we're going to be focusing on these in this episode, exploring them, diving into them, and I can tell you, they're pretty damn good. They're places like this.
Coming up this episode,
Would you get a load of that?
those secret spots revealed.
This is absolutely one of the coolest tracks that I have driven in a while.
The Kimberley like you've never seen it before.
If you come up here from anywhere else in Australia, you are going to think that you're in a different planet.
And they're all tracks anyone can do. Now, we normally start each episode with a gigantic map showing you all of the places we're visiting, but that kind of blows the whole secret theme. So let's just say that our journey will be focused on the Eastern Kimberley, and all within around 150 k's of Kununurra, because you can't go to the Kun and not have fun. For this journey, I'll be getting around in the new Ford Ranger FX4 Max, complete with ARB Summit bar and canopy, which you can now actually order from your Ford dealer. To add to its setup, the team at VRS have installed a 12,500 pound electric winch. Up top, there's a Rhino rack backbone system, and underneath, a Long Ranger fuel tank that holds a mammoth 220 litres of diesel. My journey through the Kimberley begins on its most famous four-wheel drive attraction, the Gibb River Road, a scenic backtrack from Kununurra through to Broome. Before we hit our first secret track, I couldn't resist a drive across the iconic Pentecost River crossing. With the Coburn Ranges as a backdrop, it's one of Australia's most photographed 4x4 spots. The Pentecost River is a tidal river that's home to schools of barramundi and plenty of crocodiles. She's looking dry now because it's low tide and late in the dry season, but in the wet, this river is impassable and would normally be flowing metres above my roof. Just before the crossing itself, there's a sneaky little track that darts off to the north.
This is secret track number one, numero uno. Okay, so this is called the Karunjie Track. At the start of the track, there are no signs, and 99.99% of people drive straight past. They think this is just maybe a good little track to go and find a camp because it's by the river, but it is more than that. This is a loop track that takes you to the base of the beautiful Coburn Ranges, which is absolutely gorgeous. It also takes us up to Windham. So this track, well, sit back and see. She's pretty cool. This track is a real mixture of red sand, river sand and rocks, and you could get a little bit freaked out if you're a little bit worried about your navigation, because there is literally a maze of tracks that is running around here. I can tell you that if you want the rough stuff, it's closer to the river. If you want the slightly smoother stuff, it's a little bit further up towards the higher ground and the Coburn Ranges. Don't expect to make very quick time on these tracks because it is very slow going and rough, which is just the way we like it.
The Karunjie Track takes in all that is beautiful about this region, beginning with one of its most famous sights, the ever-stunning Boab tree.
Loads of Boab trees around the place, but you've got to check these things out. They're really quite awesome. So it's the end of the season at the moment, so they're quite dry, so you can just crack them open like that. And inside, they've got a really, really interesting fruit. So check that out. You can see that really white, fibrous. It's really quite powdery. So I'll just crunch some up there. So you can just sort of see it crumbling up in my hands. And then you'll see these little seeds that are inside it. And the nice thing is you can actually just munch in on this stuff. It's kind of tangy. Good thing about this stuff is it's actually full of vitamin C. So don't be shy to just pick these things up off the ground and crack them open and see what you get. It's a cool Kimberley experience that you really can't get in too many other places.
Man, this track is changing, and so is the scenery around me. As you can see, we started off around the trees and the Melaleucas, and up here, like just a few kilometres on, it is dry, it is arid, it is barren. So it's hard to think of a track where you would get such a contrast within the space of 5 or 10 minutes. This track just keeps on surprising. We're now driving over what feels like some African savanna land. This gorgeous golden grass. The range, I'm driving right towards it now, and it is just, wow.
And then, like I've driven into a TV commercial, a huge, wide clay pan opens up before me. This is what I call freedom.
You can drive across here when it's bone dry, but otherwise there is a track on a little bit higher ground that runs a little bit tighter to the ranges. So that is your all-weather track over there. This is your dry weather track.
The end of the Karunjie Track brings me to the small industrial town of Windham. Positioned on the Cambridge Gulf in the north of the Kimberley, it's a place where road trains meet the sea, providing a vital cog in our trade route with our neighbours to the north. And Windham is also home to one of Australia's most spectacular land-based views, the Five Rivers Lookout. From 330 metres above sea level, you can admire the five rivers that flow into the Cambridge Gulf, the King, Ord, Track, Forest and Pentecost Rivers. The combination of mud flats, ranges and waterways makes this one of the great places for us four-wheel drivers to explore.
The next step of this secret Kimberley adventure is on the Parry Creek Road. Now you might be thinking, well, that's not a really secretive track, Pat. That's actually a pretty well-trodden tourist route. Well, it is. Don't worry, it still has some secrets that you probably don't know about. But we'll go to the obvious places first because they're still worth a look.
Along the way, there's yellow kapok trees, boabs, and the remains of an old telegraph station. But it's Parry's Lagoon, also known as Mulgoo, that makes the early stages of this track special. With a year-round supply of water, it attracts hundreds of bird species in a spectacular setting.
There's just such an incredible concentration of bird life in this place, but they've really laid it out beautifully. And this is my favourite spot through here. Check this out. Your very own little bird hide. Wonderful imagery there of what you're actually looking at. but the perfect shady spot for you to sit here and contemplate all of nature in its glory.
The diversity of bird life here is next level. You'll expect to see the big guys, magpie geese, spoonbills, and also the mighty jabiru. And at some times of the year, you'll also see brolgas, Eurasian coots, and Pacific black ducks. Sure beats the bin chickens that hang around my place.
After the break, I'm going to show you one of the best tracks in the Kimberley, and I reckon you've never heard of it. Beside me, in front of me, is just specky. Now, you talk to the locals in the pub in Kununurra, and they hold this place in reverence, and they really don't want to be too specific about it. In fact, one fella said to me, "Oh, Pat, I can tell you exactly where it is, but you just can't tell the viewers." Well, that's not this show, I'm afraid. The reason why we do this show is to tell you where the tracks are, and that's what I'm doing here. And it runs between Black Springs Falls and Middle Springs Waterfall. So it runs along the base of the range, and it is a combination of a bit of sand, a bit of rocks, and look, it's just a lovely meandering little track that, you know, ends somewhere pretty damn cool.
This track is known as Secret Springs Track.
I mean, just look at this. Grass, pandanus, you know, this is a tight track. I'm crossing over tree roots at the moment as we speak. Oh, it's getting a little bit deeper now. Giving the Ranger a nice wash under there. We have a gnarly little exit here, so this is going to be interesting to see if I can just climb on out. A little wheel up, and oh yeah, pop the front right there a bit. That was fun. There are some really decent little rock gardens that you've got to drive through to get here. With rock driving, it's really just about taking it very easy. You want to walk your car through. You don't want to sort of really smash it and drive it through, because you get one rock, roll over, get in the wrong spot, and it can cause some serious damage to the underbody of your four-wheel drive. I've got a full suite of underbody protection underneath my vehicle, so I don't really worry too much about these sort of situations, but still, it's one of those things. Take it easy, choose your line very carefully, and yeah, you shouldn't do any damage at all, really. This is absolutely one of the coolest tracks that I have driven in a while, and I think it's because of that variety that it's got. Just, you know, these crazy eroded water holes. You've got this amazing scenery that feels like you're in Jurassic Park, with these awesome ancient palms floating around you, the cycads, the pandanus, and just a variety on the track itself. And then you'll see these glimpses of red rock right around, just fringing the entire track, and it is really something spectacular.
And we have arrived to a beautiful waterhole. So, why am I scrambling straight by? Because this bottom swimming hole, while being quite awesome, isn't our secret spring. Nope, for that, we need to explore some more.
Are you kidding? An infinity pool fed from crystal clear spring water, 365 days a year. Oh yeah, not a bad view either.
Yep, a swim here is definitely on the menu.
I've driven a lot of tracks around Australia, and few of them are as spectacular, as challenging, and then have that amazing little cherry on top of the end of an infinity pool and a waterfall. I mean, really, what better day out for you, your family, and your four-wheel drive than to jump on this track. I can tell you I've had an absolute blast, and I really hope you can get out there and do this particular track as well. It's really worth a second mention, because I'd hate for you to think, oh yeah, that's just another great track. No, it's not just another great track. It is one of the greatest tracks in all of Australia.
Coming up next, we meet up with a local legend who shows us some of the Kimberley's finest tracks.
Undoubtedly, one of my favourite 4x4 accessories is my fridge freezer. It is just so important in making that trip more and more comfortable every time. But how do you choose the right one? There's such a massive variety on the market these days. You've got your drawer fridges, you've got your chest ones, you've got your combis, you've even got your uprights these days. So what's the best for your 4x4 adventures? Well, we're running a whole bunch of different types in my car and our crew car, so let me give you my 2 bobs worth on what I think you should look for when you're looking for a portable fridge freezer. First up, you want a 12 volt fridge. So they'll run off 12 volts or 240 volts, so you can plug them in at home or use your battery in your 4-wheel drive. Avoid, like the plague, the 3-way fridges, the ones that run off gas and 12 volt and 240. You might think they're good, but running on gas alone, they simply can't handle the temperatures Australia dishes out. So you're going to have melted ice cream and hot drinks for quite a while. In terms of the fridge cabinets themselves, you've got the upright fridges. Now, I would never install an upright in this one because I've got a canopy and everything there, so it doesn't really work with those dimensions. But if you do have a custom canopy on the back of your 4-wheel drive, the upright ones are pretty damn cool. Just be aware that being an upright and being on a 4-wheel drive track and moving around and things, you will possibly find that when you open that fridge at the end of the day, she might throw up on you and just fall out. Everything may fall. So you're going to need to try and work out how to pack it, how to stabilize that one in off-road conditions. Then you've got your drawer fridges. They're really damn cool, but I tend to use those as a secondary fridge because they really are designed to be about 1 can high. So they're fantastic at keeping the drinks cold, but if you want to sort of store a frozen chook in there or something like that, well, that's really not going to work too well because the dimensions of it aren't really designed for that. The next fridge design is one of these, one of the most popular, and it is what I'd call sort of a chest fridge freezer. So being a chest, it's all one part inside, so you can really only run it as a fridge or as a freezer, not as both. The challenge with that when you're going on a longer 4-wheel drive adventure is you'll probably need to cryovac your meat so you can keep it alongside your fresh fruit and veg. And then we come to my favourite, which is the combi, your combination of a fridge in one side and a freezer in the other side. That to me is a bit of the best of both worlds because you save a few bucks and trouble on cryovacing things, and you can store that meat for the dinners for as long as you like. And as well as that, you can throw in a few sneaky ice creams and ice blocks to keep the crew very happy on the road. So that's the overall design and the cabinetry of these things, but is there anything else that you should consider? Well, absolutely. And I think the prime thing that you need to look at is the power draw on your fridge because they vary really, really massively. These Engels that I use, they won't use over 4 amps of power. In fact, I think this one runs about 2.7 amps, looking at my Red Arc, and this one over here runs around about 3.4 amps, and that is a maximum power draw. And that's really what you do need to look at. A lot of fridge manufacturers might quote the average, but you really want to know their peak power draw because that's when they're really drawing a whole heap of power out of your battery, and some of them will run as much as 8 amps or more when that compressor is running. So you really want to make sure that your fridge has a really, really efficient compressor running it. And lastly, it's only a little thing, but I think it is important. You want to make sure that that fridge plug is up to the task. If you've just got a regular cigarette lighter attachment, what you find is that over the bumps and the corrugations, that will actually rattle free, and you'll open your fridge and there goes 300 bucks worth of groceries in a second. So I really like the Engel attachment where you can actually screw it in and it stays secure no matter what roads you're driving on.
But your fridge is only as good as your power supply, and I've been playing around with this brand new product from Red Arc.
This is called the Red Arc Go Block, and it's known as a portable dual battery system. Now, well, why would you actually want a portable dual battery system? Normally we have them plumbed up in our car and hardwired. Well, there's a good reason. When you invest in a good lithium battery in your four-wheel drive, then it kind of is a permanent attachment, a really expensive permanent attachment that often goes when you sell that car, and then you've lost your investment. So something like this just is pretty cool from a financial perspective, because obviously it's portable, so you can take it wherever you like. So this is a 100 amp hour capacity, and it is a lithium battery, which is a good thing. Lithium charges a hell of a lot better than the old lead acid batteries that we used to run, or the AGM batteries. So you're looking at quite a bit of capacity in this little box to charge your laptops, your phones, your fridges, your everything. And it is, being a Red Arc product that's fully designed and engineered in Australia, a pretty cool thing, let me tell you. Firstly, there's no fans or anything in here, so this is a good thing because it's not going to suck in dust and have lots of issues when you take it into harsh off-road environments. It's also very damn portable. So you've got these wonderful little handles here, and it is reasonably light, so you can just lug it around from vehicle to vehicle. The other thing I like about it is the fact that it can charge from multiple sources. So if you want to dump a heap of quick charge into it, it'll charge up in a matter of a couple of hours off your vehicle, so off an Anderson plug on your vehicle. But you can also charge it from solar panels, you can charge it from 240 volts, or if you've only got a little regular 12 volt attachment in your vehicle, you can also trickle charge it through that. So there's lots of different ways that you can charge it. In terms of pulling the power out, all sorts of different sockets living under here that show you how you can pull it out. So you've got your regular 12 volt, you've got your Engel fridge plug, and you've got your Merit socket as well. And on top of that, you've got an Anderson plug. Now, if you want to monitor this whole system, you can do it really easily via the Red Vision app. So here's the app, and it tells you how much charge I'm getting from the solar blanket. It tells me how much draw is actually being used by my fridge, so 2.4 amps there. And it tells you the overall capacity of the Go Block itself. And the Go Block also has a 50 amp MPPT solar regulator built in, so you can basically just plug in any solar panel and the Go Block will manage it.
With most lithium batteries, it's not advisable to jump-start your car, but with the Go Block's smart battery recovery system, you can charge up your starter battery in as little as 15 minutes and get back on the road.
So I think the Go Block really does have a cool little slot in the market. For people that have company cars and they don't want to or aren't allowed to install a dual battery system in them, it's really handy. For boaties, you want to power the fridge and not kill your starter battery, then this is also a good way to go. But I think also for those people who just want to limit the investment in their four-wheel drive because they're rolling it over every couple of years, it really is a handy thing to have. Because, well, just think of what it can power.
For the next leg, I've thrown the keys of my Everest to this fella, local legend Scotty Connell from Kimberley Spirit.
Well, Scotty, mate, I feel very privileged to get a personal tour from Mr. Kimberley himself. Thank you so much for taking me on a bit of a tag-along tour, mate.
Right back at you, mate. It's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure to have you here.
Scotty is an award-winning tour guide, author, and one of the most knowledgeable blokes I know when it comes to the Kimberley.
100 things to see in the Kimberley. When did you write that book, mate? And that must have been a fun one to put together.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago now, but it took a few years to put together. Things change and different photos and different places. I actually sat down and wrote out 200 places, and then I had to narrow it down to 100, which isn't easy in the Kimberley. It's such a big area and so much to do here, but yeah, we managed to nail it to 100 and it's been unreal.
So Scotty, what have you got planned for us today?
So we're just turning right just here, heading into El Questro Gorge. We've got a bit of a river crossing. It's become quite a bit deeper over the last wet or two. Just a bit of the swampy area has been smashed by a couple nice wet seasons. So we're going to head through there and see what this Everest has got. and then head off to Zebedee Springs for a bit of a soak.
Four-wheel driving and swimming sounds like a pretty nice day out.
Now, I know what you're thinking. El Questro station isn't exactly a secret. Sometimes, some places are just too good to pass up. And if you haven't been here, then this will definitely whet your appetite and your wheels.
Oh man, this is cool. We've got the little welcoming party here with the Brolgas.
And they hang right here as well.
This creek crossing is just over 100 metres long and is a great way to get deep into the action early on.
Bit of a crowd has gathered to watch the crossing, check that it's okay with their vehicles. Mate, this looks like a fun one.
Yeah, it's a ripper, isn't it? Just a few little areas that are washed out nicely just to dip her under.
I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Especially when you've got such crazy seasons and massive wets, things I guess change year by year.
Yeah, they do, and I've been driving across this for 10-15 years, and it is very different this year to what it's ever been. I mean, we're at the end of the season now, and we're still driving through nearly a metre of water here.
It's great to have the Everest and Ranger on the road together, if you call this a road. Especially with Scotty, there's very little about this place he doesn't know, including the details of particular boab trees. Such as this one, which was recently struck by lightning.
This is it, mate. So,
Yeah.
so how big was this?
The canopy was taller than anything around us, and yeah, you probably get 13 people like this around it for the circumference. Yeah, it's quite an amazing tree, this one was.
And then it's like it just basically evaporates here. It's just like that. If this was a hardwood, it'd be, well, a mega trunk, but it's not.
Absolutely, and limb by limb just came off and it's delaminated, and this is all that's left of it. So after 1,000 odd years, this is it, which you don't see very often around in the Kimberley, so it's pretty unique, this one. And what you can see these days is the fibre, and in a year's time there'll be nothing left here. Yeah, it'll be all completely gone. You'd never even known it was here. So
One place that has stood the test of time is Zebedee Springs. This year-round waterfall is said to have mystical qualities, a fountain of youth whose waters have even helped the likes of Nicole Kidman to fall pregnant. It's only open to the public between 7 a.m. and midday. After that, it's exclusively for the guests of the 20 grand a night El Questro homestead.
Hey, Scotty, I can feel it getting cooler in here already, mate.
yeah, absolutely. It's got this own little microclimate in here. It's beautiful Livistona palms, and these ones are actually endemic to El Questro.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can only find them here?
Yep. Yeah, there's about 18 to 20 different varieties, but these ones in particular are only found around here. Yeah.
And so we're like right at the end of the dry here, and the water's still trickling underneath us.
Yep. So we got a beautiful spring which comes out of the rock up here, and year round this place is just absolutely magnificent. So this is it, Zebedee Springs.
Mate, what an absolute paradise, eh?
Yeah, isn't it? Something else. We've got water temperatures of 32 degrees year round.
Really?
In this palm forest, and yeah, this water is just, it's the fountain of youth, they call it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So 32 degrees, you could really just sit here for a few hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, a general rule of mine is at least 2 hours. Yeah, submersed, just reset.
With an introduction like that, how could you not get in? Up next, we tackle some Rocky Mountain climbs.
It is one hell of a specky track.
And later, immerse myself in croc country.
G'day guys, we have a beautiful dessert recipe for you this evening, and it is being cooked in our Lotus Caravans Trooper. This is the caravan that we are giving away this season, so make sure you get your entry in. But I think you're going to like this little dish because it is a 3-ingredient cheesecake. How is that possible? Well, it's possible if you really want to camp and you want to have no fuss cooking. This is pretty cool. So our first ingredient is 1 litre of melted ice cream. We pour that in. That's not quite melted yet, but it will be very, very soon. Then we're going to put in 2 cups of self-raising flour. Now, you don't necessarily have to sift it, but it will come out a little bit nicer and fluffier if you do. Okay, now we'll just stir that around a little bit. And finally, we will drop in a few cups of raspberries. And we'll just fold those through. Now it is simple. We just simply drop them into our pan, our tin, and this goes into our oven at 180 degrees for 30 minutes. Look at that, looking pretty good. Browned up nicely. And we will just finish her off with a dusting of icing sugar on top. It's hard to believe that this is made of 3 ingredients: ice cream, raspberries and flour. So let's hook in and see how we go. Absolutely. Ice cream, raspberries, flour. Can you go wrong?
El Questro offers plenty of rock churning fun for those with a Ranger or well-built 4x4.
So Scotty, what's this track called, mate? Where have you brought me?
This one is Saddleback Ridge. It's a nice long gradual climb with a few steeper bits and a bit of fun.
This is good, mate. This is what we like. Like we're into low. Off we go.
That's it, job's on.
This Saddleback Ridge does not stuff around. You just climb and climb over the rocks, and as you get higher and higher, the view out the window just gets longer and deeper and better. It is one hell of a specky track.
How's this for a 360-degree view?
So, Chamberlain River, just over this far side, and the Pentecost that comes right out of the gorge, down through the township.
After the break, we attempt to reel in a barra up the mighty Ord River.
I've been travelling around the Kimberley region of Western Australia, specifically exploring those lesser known and sometimes secret spots that four-wheel drivers must visit in their lifetime. My guide today has been Scotty Connell of Kimberley Spirit, who's showing me his favourite spots around El Questro station.
This is a nice rocky crossing, mate. What's this river called?
Yes, this is the Chamberlain River, and it runs just down into the Pentecost, about 500 metres to the north.
Oh, okay. Does she go far inland?
Yeah, it goes 150 k's to the south, right down to the Mount Wells area, which isn't far north of Halls Creek. And it's actually the headwaters of the Fitzroy and the Ord River. We do have some big saltwater crocodiles to the south, as in to the left of us here. And in each pool there's sort of one dominant resident.
Okay, so don't go for a paddle.
Definitely not. Because there was a couple here years ago that were having a paddle in their canoe along the river to the left, and the big resident crocodile, 4-metre croc, popped up beside them, and they actually hit it with the paddle and they overturned the canoe doing that, and the life jacket came out from between them, and the croc actually grabbed the jacket, so they were able to get away and swim to shore. But yeah, very, very lucky.
Oh wow, that is pure luck. Wow, he went for the jacket.
Yeah, and that croc ended up in the Windham Croc Park. His name was Doc, and Yeah, he was a beast of a crocodile.
As a seasoned guide and four-wheel driver in this region, Scotty has seen it all when it comes to visitors getting into trouble.
What do you find are the most common things that sort of go wrong for newcomers up here?
Suspension is definitely the most common, and just general suspension leaks, things like that. Just with the sheer amount of corrugations, we're just starting to feel them right now.
Oh mate, I'm running out back home with suspension. I've got nothing here. There's no corrugations here.
Yeah, tyres and suspension. If you can get that part right, then you're gonna have a win, I reckon.
For sure. What sort of pressures would you run in your vehicles around here?
Sort of stick around the low 30s, anywhere from 28 to 30 in the front and 32, 34 in the back, and pretty consistent across the board on that. As I'm heading down the Gib and into some rockier places with a bit of shale, I might put a bit more in just to protect that sidewall. And but yeah, most of the time on the sandier stuff, and I just keep around the low 30s. I've got to say, an all-terrain tyre or a mud terrain tyre definitely is a huge advantage as well up here. It's with a lot of rock, so we really do need to have those sidewalls protected.
Yeah, for sure, mate. That's the thing. It's yeah, a lot of people think, you know, the mud terrain tyre is all about the you know, the tread, because that's the thing you see, but it's as you know, it's more about the carcass construction, isn't it? It's just having, yeah, heavier sidewalls and, you know, more plies and just that structural strength of the tyre.
Yeah, and it's about safety and reliability, that end of it as well, and it's definitely worth spending the extra dollars on your Goodrich and your more quality tyre brands.
So talk to me about the next stop, Scotty.
The next stop is Branco's Lookout, one of the most spectacular lookouts in the entire Kimberley. It's by far one of my favourites. The Pentecost River just bends around right in front of it and out into the Cambridge Gulf, and it's really something special.
Mate, that's saying something if it's one of your favourites in the entire Kimberley.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think up here it's the way you connect with the actual spot. There's so many different spots, and yeah, this one is a particularly special one. One of the things we do in the East Kimberley a lot though is we're actually looking in the opposite direction to the sun. We're not watching the sunset, we're watching the colours come up from the east, and this is one of those spots, so it's always interesting. I guess like Uluru, where you're watching the rock glow is the big attraction as opposed to the sun actually set. It's the same sort of principle with watching the rocks glow and the landscape just change colour, and yeah, it's just unreal.
And unreal is pretty much the only word you can use to describe this place.
Yeah.
Branco's Lookout
Bring the shame
at
to-
sunset.
Well,
What a view.
oh, really? Oh, Scotty, we've hit this at the right time, mate, the golden hour.
Yeah, you couldn't get that much better, that's for sure. It's all the elements combining right there. You've got the perfect mirror of the clouds. It's the first bit of cloud we've had in months, so really lucky to have that. You've got the Wills Bluff in that perfect light, and the Coburn Range over to the north.
The Coburn Range is out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, so you're right through the guts. Pentecost just swinging in, and a few S-bends and then out into the Cambridge Gulf. So.
Well, Scotty, mate, thank you so much for the yarns and the company, champion. Mate,
Yeah, privilege.
I have had a ball, mate. Just the knowledge of the Kimberley that's in your brain, mate. It has been really good. Hopefully some of it's rubbed off on me.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been a real privilege to have you, so cheers for coming along.
Oh, mate, thank you. And folks, we've only seen probably about 6 or 10 awesome places in the Kimberley in this episode, and Scotty's book has top 100 places to see in the Kimberley, so make sure you grab a copy of that because you might see something you like. But mate, thanks again. It's been awesome.
No worries, cheers, Pat.
After the break, while my adventures with Scotty are done, I still have a Kimberley waterway to conquer.
Ah, look at that.
To round out my time in the Kimberley, I've come to Hairy Dog's Fishing Tours, and I'm looked after today by this fella, Mick. He might have a bushy beard, but his job is clear cut, to fish the best barramundi in Australia and show you the saltwater crocodiles in their natural habitat.
So Mick, what are we up to today, mate?
Pat, we might go and see if we can catch a silvery leatherback, which is called a barramundi. We'll see quite a fair bit of bird life this time of year, cruising around. Yeah, jabberoos, a lot of young jabberoos flying around, a lot of white-bellied sea eagles, they're all flown out of their nests. Quite a range of birds this time of year coming up. A lot of migratory birds also fly over this way towards the Ord. We might see a few crocodiles as well, if we're lucky. This time of year they're starting to breed up, so the salties are playing up with the females. The freshies have already done their business and they're pretty much going to start laying their eggs shortly, I reckon.
Oh, okay.
And we'll see how we go.
And this place is teeming with bird life.
The jabberoo over that way.
Jabberoos, hawks, magpie geese, bats. They're all among over 200 species of bird found in the Kimberley. The Ord River is a series of water holes that have been turned into a permanent river thanks to the construction of Lake Argyle.
Do you think there's something special about the water that actually flows down the Ord?
I think so. I think you can grow babies out of this water, Pat. Where Lake Argyle is, there's a lot of sandstone, limestone, there's a bit of basalt around as well, and I'm sure the minerals from the wet season run off those, wear off those, and this water is just full of life, it's teeming with life, and we do grow good crops up here in the Ord as well, and I'd say a lot of that is because of the minerals that are in the water.
Dammed in 1972, it now provides a precious water resource for farmers and the animals that rely on it, especially these guys, worth around $1,500 each at the sale yards. But this river isn't always safe for drinking. Mick sees this side of a cow snatched by crocodiles almost daily.
So Mick, you saw that specific cow get taken?
I did. I got that cow yesterday morning about 8 o'clock, I reckon. Yeah, we're just cruising along with the 3 punters on board. Probably 200 metres up on the right hand side. I could see the cow jumped out of the water, but the croc jumped out and grabbed it on the hind quarters at the same time. And we headed over towards that way, and I've got pretty good footage of it, but unfortunately I couldn't save the cow, and that's what's left of it, yeah. But normally they'll leave it for 2 or 3 days to blow up a little, and so it's a bit easier for them to take a bite out of. So, but that's quite fresh, so it tells me they're active and they're hungry. Being a breeding season this time of year. So.
And mate, not just the crocs that'd feed on it, what other things would you feed to see feeding?
There'll be a lot of sharks that'll feed on as well, black-tip sharks, we've got a few of those in here. And a lot of catfish. A lot of smaller fish will feed on them as well, yeah. So nothing goes to waste in this river at all. It's everything just gets consumed one way or another. There's no wastage, not like us.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not long before the crocs return for a feed, right before our eyes.
We have our first salty sighting here. We have a cow that's been dragged into the water and the salties are having a little bit of a munch on him. This is a bit of nature in action, folks.
There's a couple other bigger crocs here too. If they find out, he'll be in trouble, that little guy.
Oh,
nice work.
No way.
While the crocs are distracted, it's time for me to head upstream and try and catch some barra.
They're pretty easy to learn on my boat. I'm a pretty quick teacher. Come back on.
Whoop. No excuses now. Got there. Like that. Whoa. Should I try around this one? It's not happening.
And that, folks, is why I host a 4x4 show and not a fishing show. This is great fun, but there's definitely a knack to it.
Hey! Oh, look at that. Outstanding, mate. God, they're beautiful. Beautiful looking fish.
Not a bad looking fish, are they?
Well, there we have it, our very first barra. So we have succeeded. This is 58 centimetres. The regulation, Mick tells me, is 55. But he snagged this one, so I'm playing catch up.
Getting off the beaten track is definitely worth your while, especially when there's a fresh barramundi to take home at the end of it.
Well, this is one adventure that I seriously do not want to end because it has genuinely been one of my most enjoyable 4x4 adventures in recent years. Seeing these secret places that I never really thought existed be uncovered, and then meeting these local legends to take us around the Kimberley to really show us that little bit more and inform us of just what a special part this is of Australia. I really hope you can get up here in your very own 4x4. I'm Pat Callinan. Until next time, keep the shiny side up.
Next week, Mount Isa is more than meets the eye. Join me as we uncover a 4x4 heartland like no other. Waterholes to die for, incredible 4x4 tracks, and legendary locals to show us the way above and below the ground.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And by all means, tell me where you want me to go next on my adventure so I can show you all the tips you'll need to go on yours. I'm Pat Callinan. Until next time, keep the shiny side up.